Okay, so we're still here at the Embassy of Italy here in Washington, D.C. for Bright Focuses Foundation, their gala. And another one of the awardees has stopped by, one of the big brains that has been focusing on some of the solutions related to, again, the three spaces that we're looking at. One is Alzheimer's, two is macular degeneration, and three is glaucoma. And this awardee is getting recognized with an Impact Award. And we're going to get into that very shortly. By the way, my name is Richard Louis. I'm at MSNBC as a news anchor. I'm volunteering today, so it's good to be with you. And Dr. Schumann, Dr. Joel Schumann, good to see you.
Joel Schumann.
And let me just read a little bit here of what makes this guy really, really, really interesting and very important. So as he gets the award today, Dr. Schumann, he's with NYU's Langone Eye Center. He is seen as one of the world's leading ophthalmologists specializing in glaucoma and diagnostic testing of eye disease. So he's not only big physically, he's also big in the brain and what he gets done. So I had to say that.
Okay.
You don't mind. So congratulations, first of all.
Thank you very much.
If you had to explain this to my mom or dad, what is it that you do?
Right. So there are a number of different things, but let's talk about one that's had the widest application, which is optical coherence tomography. I was one of the inventors of optical coherence tomography, and it's a way of making a 3D map of the back of your eye. So it's like taking a photograph, except that it has 3 dimensions instead of just a flat picture. And that lets us look at the different layers of tissue in the back of the eye, lets us look at diseases like glaucoma, macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, the big blinding
Big ones.
Yeah, big blinding diseases. And it allows us to detect those really early and also to manage them because we can follow them very precisely.
Interesting.
We can do a measurement that is not subjective. It's not based on somebody saying, oh, it looks like this or it looks like that. It's a precise, accurate measurement of the tissue that lets us say, oh, wait, there's a problem here, or hey, there's no problem. You don't need to be treated. Or you're stable, you're doing fine. You know, just keep doing what you're doing.
And how's it work? Is it like you hook something up to my head? Do I lay down on a bed? How does this work?
Much easier. You just look into a machine and it uses light.
So, like this, right? I just look into the machine.
Yeah, and it uses light that's invisible. And so you don't even see or feel anything. It's very quick, painless, non-contact.
How long?
It seconds.
Wow. And when you discovered that, how did it happen? What was that moment like?
There was a team.
Yeah.
So there were 6 of us. Some of us were physicians, some of us engineers. There was a physicist involved. And we were working on a problem. And that problem was how to measure things. And that team worked together to be able to create a technology that would do measurements. First, it was just, a measurement along a line. And then one of us, David Wong, had the idea of, oh, well, if you scan it this way, you can make an image. So you can make a picture.
Right.
And then if you do that very fast, side by side, those cross sections become a 3D image.
So what did you do when your team discovered this thing? Did you do a high five? Did you jump up in the air?
It was really exciting. So
Do
the
you
first
remember?
time,
Yeah, give me the word. How do you describe that moment?
it was the aha moment.
Aha moment.
Right? So it's the thing that you always want when you're doing research, which is, that time that you realize something and that this is something new that nobody's ever done before that's going to be really important.
Never done before. And I think one of the questions that is difficult for lay people like myself is, hey, this is why research works. This is why it works. Because otherwise it gets very sort of out there. How would you explain that to a layperson like myself? This is the way research works.
Well, research is basically curious people looking at problems that affect, either small or large groups of people.
Right.
And if you have people who are physicians who understand how the body works, and you have people who are engineers who understand how technology works, and you have people who are scientists who understand the basics of how biology works, put those people together, they can come up with solutions to problems